Jeff Bezos, the creator of Amazon, titan of Blue Origin, revolutionizer of online shopping for the entire 21st century. Estimated net worth $198.3 billion. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, founder of the Boring Company and SpaceX, revolutionizer of battery technology, electric vehicles, and space travel. Estimated net worth $168.4 billion. Bill Gates, the man behind Microsoft, revolutionizer of computers and software development, and richest known philanthropist through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and famous for dressing up like everybody's grandfather. Estimated net worth $127.7 billion. Andrew Carnegie, founder of U.S. Steel, monopolizer of the United States steel industry, once held as the richest man in the world. Estimated net worth, adjusted for today's numbers, $310 billion. John D. Rockefeller, oil magnate, monopolized the entire oil industry in the United States and standardized oil practice for the next several decades. Estimated net worth, $340 billion. Whenever discussing the richest men in history, these 5 names are constantly brought up. However, there is one other individual whose net worth dwarfs all 5 of these gentlemen, and he is often left out of conversations. This is Mansa Musa. Estimated net worth anywhere from $400 to $450 billion. Now, to be fair, because he was alive during the 13th century and money worked very differently back then, it is difficult to estimate his actual net worth. But he is still held up by many historians as the richest man in history. Now, who was Mansa Musa? How did he accumulate his wealth? And how was he able to maintain it? Well, that is the purpose of this video. Mansa Musa was the 10th emperor of the Malinese Empire. His reign was from 1312 AD to 1337 AD. During his reign, the Malian Empire consisted of Mali, Mauritania, Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, and Chad. Mansa Musa was so rich that one trip to Cairo, Egypt was enough to destabilize the entire economy of the city. During his 3-month stay in Cairo, the value of gold plummeted and the cost of goods rose over 500%. This is the only time in recorded history that this has ever happened, where one man was able to control the entire cost and value of an economy just by spending his money. This is something Egypt would not recover from for over 12 years. Now Mansa Musa was a devout practitioner of Islam, and as part of his religion, he would have to take a pilgrimage to Mecca. Now, during his journey to Mecca, he brought with him a caravan of over 60,000 people, including his wife and 500 of her own personal servants. That is enough people to fill an entire football stadium. During that journey, every one of his slaves carried with them 5 gold bars minimum, among other luxuries like silk and spices. But how did Mansa Musa get that rich? Not much is known about his early life, as most history back then was not recorded. In fact, things were passed down mostly through word of mouth. But it is agreed that he was born sometime in the 1280s. It is important to note that Musa was not born into royalty. Yes, his grandfather Abu Bakr Keita was the brother of Sundiata Keita, the founder of the Malian Empire. Abu Bakr Keita played no part in the construction of the kingdom at that time. Even Musa's father, Fagale, played no part in the building of the kingdom as well. It would not be until 1312 that the reigning king, Abu Bakr Keita, embarked on a journey across the Atlantic Ocean. Now, during his absence, he would appoint Mansa as his deputy in charge. After some time, it became apparent that Abu Bakr Keita was not coming home from his journey across the Atlantic Ocean. In fact, nobody knows what happened. Well, that is when Musa ascended the throne and became Mansa Musa. Mansa means emperor. The first thing that Mansa Musa did was grow his military might for the purpose of conquering more land and tax enforcement. But this is not how he became wealthy. He did not raid and pillage his neighboring lands and grow his wealth that way. Now, during his reign, Mansa Musa added the neighboring cities of Timbuktu, Gao, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Chad, and many other lands. It is estimated during his reign that Mansa Musa conquered over 24 cities and countless villages. At its height, the Malian Empire covered over 2,000 square miles. As a devout practitioner of Islam, Mansa Musa made it a point to build as many mosques and temples in all of his conquered cities and lands. However, although Islam was the official religion of the Malian Empire, it was not heavily enforced. This created a culture of religious freedom where the people practiced a hybrid of Islam and whatever their local religion was in the first place. In a sense, by allowing the citizens of his empire the freedom to choose how they exercised their religion, they did not feel oppressed, and in fact, they thrived under Mansa Musa's rule. Throughout his empire, Mansa Musa expanded trade routes that spread all of northern Africa, Spain, the Middle East, and Central Africa. He established Timbuktu as a center for trade of spices, minerals, and knowledge, something that still exists to this very day. Now, before Mansa Musa, Timbuktu was a city that stayed mostly to itself and kind of ignored the outside world. But after just a few short years, there were marketplaces, universities, religious centers, and schools. In fact, Timbuktu's libraries became the most extensive in the entire known world at the time, with over 1 million manuscripts, dwarfing the Library of Alexandria. Mansa Musa invested heavily into his people. During his reign, he would make sure that education was of the highest priorities in his land. At its height, Mali was known for its educational centers. People traveled from around the world to learn there. During Mansa Musa's travels, he would spend generously, giving away gold where he could and building new infrastructure where it was needed. While on the surface, it may seem like he was just flexing his wealth, but his goal was to attract artists, architects, and engineers to his empire. And it worked. The news of the architecture reached as far as Central Europe and East Asia, and people would travel from around the world just to bear witness to this wondrous empire. During his reign, Mansa Musa turned Mali from a small empire of about half a dozen cities to a behemoth of land that covered most of northwestern Africa. Mali went from a land that just exported and traded gold to a global powerhouse for trade and commerce of over 40 million people. That is about 2/5 the size of Europe and geographically the size of the United States. It is not exactly known when Mansa Musa died, but it is mostly agreed upon by historians to be around 1337 AD. The cause of his death is unknown as far as I could tell, but he did leave behind a thriving and strong empire. Even after his death, his legacy would continue to tickle the imagination of citizens around the world. A man so wealthy, his slaves could live like a king. In fact, when European cartographers would create maps of Western Africa, they would often include an image of Mansa Musa inspecting a nugget of gold. But his wealth is not his only legacy. Mansa Musa is also remembered for his contributions to Islam, universities, scholarships, and the patronage of the Malinese Empire. His mausoleums, libraries, mosques would continue to stand for generations as a testimony to his golden era of rule. And there you have it. This is the story of Mansa Musa, the richest man in the entire history of the world. Hey, what's up, folks? I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was my first attempt ever at doing anything historical, at doing a documentary piece. I had a lot of fun making it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Found it very educational, very informative. If I butchered any of the names, I deeply apologize. Let me know what you guys think down below. If there's anything that I got wrong, let me know as well. I had a lot of fun making this, and I definitely want to make some more of these type of videos. Just because I enjoy learning and sharing things that I learn. If there's a person in history that you want me to particularly cover, let me know, and who knows, I'll do my best to try to work it into future videos. In the meantime, I hope you all have a really good day. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Happy 4th of July to all my American brothers and sisters. And as always, be nice. Thank you.